Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I am fine. Feel good. Took my walk. I'm on early. I'm going to leave early, so I'm on early. 1 second. So I'll probably go till about 11:15. So it's an hour, a little over an hour. All right. So there's so many comments. There's so much in my title. Let's start with the World Series. Home plate umpire was obviously paid off. Numerous bad pitches that were balls he called strikes. Mostly the call in the second inning when whatchamacallit's on first. Boba shot. He's on first. It's like a 3-1 count. And the ball's like 6 inches high and he calls it a strike. But the way he called it a strike, he didn't like go strike. He like pointed to first as if take your base. All the other times he said strike. The pitch was high. Too bad you can't argue that. I think they're going to do that next year, I think. But clearly he was on the take. He called for Toronto at least 5 balls that were balls that he called strikes. But it was the way he did that. Then we got another single, and we ended up with first and third with 1 out, thanks to him misleading the runner by saying, like, strike, like, take your base. He wasn't clear that it was a strike. He delayed it, and he purposely got the guy picked off. There was a time I was playing softball, and there was a line drive to right. We were batting, and the umpire never made a call. But we had, I think, the bases loaded. What did you want my runners to do? They can't go. They don't know if it's an out or a safe. You're not making the call. So he ends up, the guy does catch the ball, and then they throw to second and get a double play. And I argue with the umpire and go, but I argue very, very politely. Mr. Umpire, we don't know what to do. You didn't make a signal. If you don't tell us that he's out, we don't know what to do. We assumed it was safe because you didn't call it out. So he ended up reversing the call. It wasn't out, but we then still had the bases loaded. And that's what this ump should have done yesterday. It was his fault. It was his mistake. He pointed to first as if it was a walk. The pitch was high. Everybody knew that. And yet he called it a strike. But he said he goes strike, but points to first. That was his fault. He should have reversed and you shouldn't. Boba shot should have stayed on first. It's my error. So he started going to second because I kind of said it was a walk. And that's what should have happened. But he had at least 5 other terrible calls on strikes and balls, but only against Toronto, not against the Dodgers. I'm so sick of the Dodgers. I want to throw up. The manager of Toronto is an idiot. What else is new? We are in the time of the worst coaches and managers for football and baseball I've ever seen in my life. David, good morning. I'm fine, David. I hope you're well. So why do I make this comment? Well, first of all, why are you pitching to Shotani? Why are you pitching to him? This is like Barry Bonds. Okay, this guy, first of all, they don't know how to pitch to him. You pitch high to him, over the belt. He can't hit it. He just golfs at the ball. And you keep pitching him low. Are you out of your fucking mind? I mean, I'm looking at a bunch of idiots. If my pitcher pitches him low, he's out of the game. Now, secondly, so to me, Shohei Ohtani would have had 7 walks, and I would have won the game. And that's the point. It's to win the game. You can't pitch to him. Well, you could if you kept the ball high, But if you're going to pitch to him low and you're going to pitch to him out over the plate with fastballs that don't break, my mother could hit that stuff. I mean, it's not hard. So secondly, why are you pulling Scherzer? You had a 4-2 lead in the 5th inning. You should never have pulled Scherzer. My friend said, well, the manager asked him and he said, yeah, I'm done. And I'd say that's bullshit. Scherzer would never want to come out of a game that he was not done, and he didn't agree to that. I don't buy that. I would never have taken Scherzer out. He's pitching all 9, and I win 5-2. Why do you keep pulling the pitchers? Why do you keep going to the bullpen? Why is going to the bullpen the answer? This is what's so stupid about that. I saw Sandy Koufax there. You think he would have been pulled out? He'd have pitched all 18 innings. I thought that was ridiculous. None of your bullpen guys are as good as Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer might be older, but he knows how to get the guys out. He knows how to win. Never pull him. Not in the 5th inning, not in the 6th inning, not in the 7th inning. He's got to go at least 8 innings. And you'd be up 5-2. And if you just intentionally walk Ohtani because you're too stupid to pitch the ball high to him, I would just pitch the ball high. He's going to swing and miss. Or he walks. Who cares? To give the guy 2 home runs? Are you out of your mind? He should not be able to bat the rest of the series. It should just be intentionally walked. I think it's a stupid batting order that the Dodgers use. That's like batting Willie Mays leadoff or Mickey Mantle leadoff. The leadoff hitter should be Mookie Betts. Then one of the other guys, they have such a bad lineup. And then the 3rd hitter should be Ohtani. The 4th hitter should be Freddie Freeman, and the 5th hitter should be the catcher. I thought that the pitcher's glove is illegal because it was a bright yellow. I complained about that in girls' fast pitch. The girl in girls' fast pitch had a yellow mitt, and the ball was yellow. And I complained. I said, I can't see the ball. And we made her switch gloves. You can't wear a yellow glove. What kind of crap is that? Toronto's by far the stupidest team I've ever seen. So you take Scherzer out with a 4-2 lead, huge mistake, and then you let Ohtani hit a 2-run homer. The only guy that can hit on the team, you pitch to him. Unbelievable. And why would you get Scherzer out so early? We don't know the game's going 18 innings, but why would you get him out so early? So, I mean, the ump cheated, clearly. He should be suspended and thrown in jail. You got to send these guys to jail. Then they won't do it. Otherwise, they get $50,000 from the mafia, and the kids can get the kung fu, G.I. Joe with the kung fu grip, as we steal from Eddie Murphy. And that's it. But to pitch to the only hitter on their team that can hit, Ohtani, the rest of the team sucks. Freddie Freeman's hitting, 200? And the guy who bats like this, what is that? Little League? I mean, I've never seen anybody bat like this. Worst hitting team I've ever seen, except for the one guy. Just pitch around him. It's not that hard. That's how you win. You avoid strength. The art of war. If the manager knew that, he would never attack strength. He would attack weakness, which is the rest of the team. Mookie Betts is hitting like 120. So that's how you play the Dodgers. You never give Ohtani a pitch. You might not intentionally walk him, but you're not giving him anything to hit. And you're not giving him anything low. Everything's got to be high. So anyway, that's the point. So that was my take on it. Now, because baseball's not on TV, I never watch it. I think there's a Saturday night Fox game, which I watch sometimes until football's on. but it's really strange how they don't have baseball on TV. The Tigers, they're not on TV. It just blows my mind. Do you want people to watch? I could see the Detroit Tigers could show up at my club. I wouldn't know any of them. I have no idea. They're all a bunch of little kids anyway, bunch of crybabies and emotional. Oh, I got a hit. Oh, what is that? Be professional. In my job, if I well, let's say football. Okay, I hit the KC game 27-7 and it ended 28-7. Should I dance around and jump and high five? Hey, everybody, I hit the score. No, I act like I've been there before because I have been there before, and I'm expecting to hit my score. So again, I can't stand this whole little party thing. A guy gets a sack, he jumps and runs. They all run into the end zone and do a little song and a dance act. This is fucking football or baseball. I really don't miss it. If you don't want to put it on TV, I won't watch it. I don't care. I'm not getting the MLB network or the NFL network. Are you out of your fucking mind? Most people aren't going to be able to eat. You're worried about the NFL network. Which takes us to gold. Let's go to gold and let's go fifth dimensionally. We'll understand it. I figured it out. Right now it's $39.41, down $64. Silver is 47. Am I worried? Not in the least. Again, we are in gold because we're getting out of this. And we have no choice. We're not going to get back on the Titanic. We're in gold because it can't go down. We understand this is a paper price, not a physical price. We understand the demand is huge and the supply is limited. So we ask, what is this bullshit? It's exactly what it is. It's bullshit. This is not reality. This is a paper price. Now, why are the banks doing this? JP Morgan and Citi. Why are they doing this? I finally figured it out because there's no gold. There's nothing available. So by creating this bullshit chaos that they're creating, gets the suckers out and there's more gold that goes into the system. So some idiot maybe sell, oh my God, gold's going down. I better sell my gold because he has no idea why he bought it in the first place. He bought it as an investment, which is not what we're doing. And he made some money. Oh, I bought it at 3,000. It's 4. It's starting to go down. I better sell it. That's one reason. The other reason, and so they need it. There is no physical. So the banks need it, want to get it. They want you to go into gold, into stocks. Oh, sell your gold, go into stocks. They want to do this digital world where it's all Bitcoin and stable coin, which is all a Ponzi scheme. You don't want to be in that. By the way, I did do a radio interview yesterday at 2. I'll let you know when it's actually aired. It was kind of like taped and they're going to edit it and then they'll show it. And it's very similar to what is gold? What is inflation? What is football? How do you pick? Everything we go over here. I'm just trying to get the name out, right? And I'm trying to help people with the gold because they don't understand it. And so why is JP Morgan shorting gold when he doesn't have it? When the Chinese buy it, he's going to have to sell it. He's going to have to stand for delivery and deliver the gold, which he doesn't have and he can't get. So I think that's the end of comex. But I think what they're doing now is this is the calm before the storm. What do you mean, Howard? This isn't calm. Yeah, they're lowering the price to get the suckers out, to get anybody who's going to short out. And their new price target's $10,000 an ounce for gold. That's the new price target. So what's going to happen very soon, Katie bar the door, this is going to 5 to 6 to 10,000. So this is just, let's get the idiots out. Let's scare the people to selling their gold because we need gold. So they're trying to get gold, but there's not a lot of people who are going to sell it People that don't know why they bought it, who don't listen to my class, will sell it because they're going to profit take it. But we don't profit take here because we got the fuck off the Titanic and we're not about to get back on it. And I brought that up in the radio talk yesterday. We are off the Titanic. Let it sink. The US dollar is the Titanic and it's sinking. And we haven't even begun the frenzy stage when everybody realizes the dollar is worthless and the only answer is gold and silver, not Bitcoin or stable coin. And once they understand that, everybody jumps into gold. There's not any gold left. Unless you want to give it to me at 10 grand. I'll sell my gold for 10 grand, but I'm only going to sell you 1 ounce. So if I own 100 ounces, the other 95 ounces aren't going anywhere. You sell 1 or 2 ounces, that's it. So this is, again, the banks making it look like there's a problem, and there isn't. We know what's going on. We understand bricks. We understand gold. You can't print gold. I hate when they call it third-party risk, or what do they call it, non-party risk. The fuck does that mean? We don't care about party risk. We care about the fact you can't print the gold. So it can't go down in value. You can't inflate it like you're inflating the dollar. So I think the system is crashing. It's not really crashing. Basically, the dollar is worthless, which is what we know. We talk about it every day. This has no value. We understand this has no value. So you go into gold only if you understand it. If you don't understand it, what are you in? I'm in stocks. I'm going into Bitcoin. Loser, loser. Oh, I'll buy 5 houses. Loser, loser, loser. All those are bad bets. Because the only bet that's a good bet is gold and silver because it's highly demanded and limited. There's only 200,000 tons and it's all gone. So the price has to go through the moon. So this price drop is bullshit. We understand that. We don't panic because what's our option? Sell our gold at $39.50 right now to get back into dollars? That's our option? What kind of option is that? That's suicide. So you get back into it, then gold goes to 5,000. Now you're stuck in dollars and you don't have any gold. You're fucked. And that's what they want. They want you to be fucked so they can put this digital ID on you or whatever they're trying to do to control you. I don't know. Can't control me in gold because you don't know I have it and I'm not on your radar and I'm not going to get the digital ID. Fuck you. And that's basically what it is. So that's where the issue is. It's, again, making a bet on a game you don't understand. Watching baseball, understanding it's fixed. They want Shotani to win. He's their big marketing guy. So believe me, Dodgers are going to win the World Series because it's fixed. And yesterday you saw it, the ump with a really weird strike call on a pitch 2 feet too high. But the way he did it was like, go to first. Who does that? It's strike. It's not strike, go to first. Even the batter was there. So you're dealing with a fixed game. The Dodgers will win, as I see now, because it's fixed. The Toronto manager's got his head way up his ass, pitching to Shotani. It's like pitching to Barry Bonds. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing pitching to Barry Bonds? You don't pitch, you just walk them. You let the other players beat you, right? That's art of war. You're not going to beat me. The other guy's going to beat me. You're not going to beat me. So we'll go into Mark McGwire in a little bit. 39.47 gold. It'll be back to 4,500. Don't worry your pretty little heads. Silver 4,700. We'll be back to 5,300. Again, don't worry your pretty little heads. I have an interview scheduled tonight for a company in Australia. Go figure that out. I assume it's remote because I'm not moving to Australia. I don't want to move to a communist country. $39.50. Okay. So that's thinking fifth dimensionally. Why it's critical thinking. Why is comex is going down? Why? Why is the price going down? Because they're getting the shorts out of the game. So people are shorting it because they're idiots. The banks, but the banks are calling for $10,000 gold. Who's shorting it? What idiots are shorting this comex? Are you out of your mind? Well, it's gone up so much. It's in a bubble. I'm going to profit take. No, this is not a stock. This is money. There's a big difference between that. There is no way gold's going down in the real world, in the physical world that we live in. Gold is 50,000 an ounce if it's a nickel, right? And it's gone up because of this correction makes gold go even higher. Because in the physical world, it's never going down. I am never selling my gold for $4,000. Never. It's way too cheap. We understand the physical price of gold is about 40,000. Why would I sell it for 4? I'll buy it for 4 very readily because I know the real price is 40,000. Because I know the physical price of gold versus the paper price of gold isn't even close. Because you're dumping a lot of paper. You're inflating the paper price. The more derivatives and the more options you do, it puts more gold into the system. But there isn't. There's 200,000 tons, of which 200,000 tons is gone. It's all eaten by bricks. The U.S. has no gold. London has no gold. It's rehypothecated if it is. If we have any gold in Fort Knox or in the Fed, it's not our gold. We remember Die Hard 3. They break in and it's Saudi Arabia gold, France gold, England gold. It was never the U.S.'s gold. So don't kid yourself. The physical price of gold is way, way higher, and silver. Silver physical price at least 500 to 1,000. Don't kid yourself. You're getting caught in the paper trap. You think the paper price is the real price. And that's what you've already lost. If you don't understand that, you've already lost. It's not the real price, it's the paper price. And if you have physical gold and silver, it's worth at least 10 times more. Probably about 20 times more now with this bullshit that they just pulled. Don't get caught up into the prices. Get caught up in I own physical and I can't lose, and I'm not getting back on the Titanic before it sinks. I'm not getting back into the dollar or any of the dollar instruments. I'm not getting back in the stock market, into real estate trusts with the tech on Wall Street guy. I'm not getting into an annuity or life insurance bullshit. And I'm not getting into digital money, which is not even real. If you trust the banks after all this, you're out of your mind. Well, it's digital. Well, what does that mean? Well, you can't really see it and you can't really hold it, but wink, wink, it's real. How the fuck can it be real? Not only is it not backed by anything, but it's not even real. And if you buy something that isn't real, you get what you deserve. Bitcoin, yeah, it's Michael Saylor, it's Trump, it's Larry Fink, the three morons, Larry Moe and Curly. You want to trust those guys? Be my guest. I don't trust idiots. There's no fucking way. The only thing to be in is gold and silver. That's it. Very simple. 100% of my portfolio is gold and silver. Why would I be in stocks? Well, look how good the stocks might. It's all manipulated. Just like they're manipulating the gold price, they're manipulating the stock price, only that's higher. Follow the market, follow the reason. Don't get caught up in looking at the price that's controlled by JP Morgan. What the hell are you doing? Don't follow that price. It's a bullshit price. Follow what we know. We know gold cannot be copied or inflated. We know there's only 200,000 tons of physical gold, of which it's all gone. China, Russia, India, BRICS. So we know there's no value. There is no physical value. There's only paper. This option derivative price is a paper price of gold. Do we own paper? No, we own fucking physical. And if we own physical, where's the price of that? Oh, it doesn't exist. What do you mean there is no physical price of gold? Well, we use the paper price. What? Why do we use the paper price? We don't use the paper price of Canadian Club or Coca-Cola or Oreos. We don't use the paper price of that. We use the physical price. We go to the grocery store. There's the item. We pick it up. We buy it. That's a physical. Why aren't we doing that with gold and silver? Well, the banks like to manipulate it and fuck everybody over. Oh, I don't want to play with them. That's fifth dimensional thinking. We go underneath it and we realize this is just a scam, just a Ponzi, just a Madoff bullshit. Price is not going down. How could it? There's no gold out there. It's gone. They can't cover it. So whoever's doing these shorts, and I don't know if it's JP Morgan or not, I assume so. They're doing it for the Fed. The Fed's a bunch of morons. Scott Sanderson, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's a George Soros guy. You're going to trust George Soros? George Soros wants the dollar to collapse because he's shorting it and he'll make money on it. Doesn't give a fuck. He did it to England. He didn't give a fuck about the people. So he made a lot of money. Now he's just trying to kill everybody. And his guys are in the governments and they're trying to, let's do digital IDs. Let's control everybody like the Nazis did. I mean, it's insanity. That's why they're invading Russia, or the war with Russia. It's between Putin and Soros. Putin understood Soros is evil. He's a Nazi. And so he's trying to take him out. I don't know why it's so hard to take out Soros, but he's trying to take him out. And Soros is he's the one creating the war against Russia. So it's basically Soros against Putin. And Putin's gone. Putin wants to take him out, but he must be hard to find or live in a bunker. I don't know. The guy's a Nazi, so I assume he knows how to, hide like he did in World War II. And that's really what's going on. So with the gold, it must have something to do with collapsing the dollar. I don't know. The banks probably don't want people like us in gold because they can't control us. And we tell them to go fuck off. That's what we do here. Anyway, so that's fifth dimensional thinking. You ask and dig into why. Why is COMEX dropping? And it's just clear the suckers out. And then I guess they're calling it like a reset. I'll show you. Alligator did a video on it this morning. And it's to clear the suckers out to get some more gold into the market because they don't have any. So there's no gold. So if we short it, people will sell the gold out of panic because they're morons. They don't realize they're in it because they got to get out of the dollar because the boat's sinking and I got to be in the lifeboat. And therefore, it gets a little bit of gold back into the system for the banks. And the banks are all going to collapse because they got all these shorts that are going to kill them. So it's a little bit of a reset, but it's going to storm back and it's going to go 4,500, 5,000, just like that. Do not worry. This is a very short-term thing. This is the calm before the storm, and the storm's $10,000 gold is coming at a theater near you, probably by the end of the year. We're at the end of October, and a lot of it was the settlement date is today, so this is why it dropped over the weekend, was to get to the settlement dates, but now it should go up after today as the settlement date's the 28th. So keep in mind, this is a golden opportunity to buy. If you're looking to buy gold, you'll never find a better time at this price. If you're looking to buy silver, just buy. Don't even try it. You're not timing the market. There's no timing. This is gold. This is silver. This isn't stocks. This isn't bonds. This isn't real estate trust. This is gold that you buy and you put in your safe and you find a safe place for it and you just sit back and watch it go, knowing it can't ever go down like this. This is just fantasy. This is not reality. The physical gold in China and Russia and everywhere, believe me, did not go down. This is a comex only exhibit, and they're letting it run, and then they're gonna then buy it. They're gonna ask for delivery, and that's gonna end comex. So basically, this is the end of comex. This is their last stand right here. Enough said. Please don't worry. You're about to be very rich very soon. Okay. Uh, let's look at the NFL last night. I did pretty well picking the score. I picked Kansas City 27-7 against Washington, and it was 28-7. You had Mariota. I don't know how many interceptions he threw. Mahomes had a bad first half, and then did Mahomes with his 3 touchdowns in the second half, doing what Mahomes does. So I just brought in the stats this morning. I have to grade the teams, which don't really change much. And let's look at next week. So I put my lines down, and then we'll look at the real lines. So I always update my stats on Tuesday because I got to wait for the Monday night. It's sort of like Mahomes. How did he do? Kansas City scoring and giving up and things like that. So please don't worry about gold and silver. We are in it to get off the Titanic. So you really don't have a choice. You're going to sell it and get back on the Titanic and sink? No. So you're holding your gold. As long as you understand that, kick up, you have nothing to worry about. You're in good hands with the professor. All right. Baltimore goes to Miami. Is Lamar playing? I don't know. He must have really ripped the hamstring because it doesn't take 4 weeks, right? The guy from McLaurin and Debo Samuel both had hamstring injuries, were out a week. They both played. So he must have really tore it pretty bad. I don't know if he'll be back at all during the season. My guess is he won't. They went with Huntley because he can run the offense better than Cooper Rush, which is totally unfair because Cooper Rush has the Dallas offense. He doesn't know the Baltimore offense. I'm sure Harbaugh is too stupid to get him acclimated on it and say, hey, you're new. You got to learn our offense because everybody has to do their own offense because they're too fucking stupid. All right. My line, Baltimore -7. The real line, Baltimore -7.5. Total of 50.5. The total seems very high. Miami can't score. Baltimore's got kind of a weaker defense, and this is if Lamar plays, and I don't know what he's going to do, but this is a very high total. That's the Thursday game, and then we go. So Lamar won't play if it's Thursday. He couldn't play Sunday. He's not going to be better in 2 days. But we don't want anybody to get injured, so we have this half-ass kickoff, and let's play Thursdays, but we don't want anybody injured. Let's go to London. Yeah, nobody will get injured there. Houston, 1.5, 39.5. I had Houston -3. 39.5. I think looks like it's going to be, that's way under. That's too low. Watching the Houston Frisco game, Houston's defense isn't all that. Denver can score. Denver has a good defense also. My line's Houston -3. This line's too low. CJ Stroud's terrible. He threw an interception last week. I don't know. There was 2 guys, and he threw it right between them both and right to the San Francisco guy. Yeah, I don't like Houston here at all. Indy goes to Pitt. My line, Indy -7. The line, Indy -3. That's ridiculous. And 50. Indy scores a lot. Pittsburgh has no defense. Pittsburgh with Rodgers will score. Indy should be much higher than 3 points. I mean, they're much better than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense, well, they made Jordan Love, who sucks, look good, 20 in a row or whatever. They don't blitz. What the hell is wrong with Pittsburgh? San Fran goes to the Giants. I got Frisco -3. Frisco's -3. How about that? 48.5. You don't have Scatterboo. Dart ain't going to get you a lot of points. The Niners are very live here, I think. Prophet, good morning. Did you watch any of that marathon last night? Yeah, I was watching it. I thought the home plate umpire was paid off. The strike he called on that one guy, and then he made it look like it was a walk, and then the guy Bo Bichette gets picked off of first because he's going to second because it's a walk because the pitch was this high. Yeah, so that was definitely fixed. And then the Toronto should never have pulled Scherzer until like the 8th inning. And why are you pitching to Shotani? Are you out of your fucking mind? Apparently they are. So that's it. But, it's hard because you're fighting an incompetent manager for Toronto. You're fighting a paid-off umpire. So it makes it very difficult. Let me manage and we'd win the World Series in 4 games. It would be a joke. I would never have pulled Scherzer until the 8th inning. I don't care. There's no way he's, oh yeah, I'm done. Bullshit. Unless he was sick and he didn't tell anybody, there's no way he's getting pulled. All right. Atlanta and New England. New England 5.5, 4.5. I got New England -3. New England 5.5, 45. I'm not sold on New England being that good. It depends if Penix is playing. I would like Atlanta. If Kirk Cousins, I would bet my house on New England because he's terrible. Tennessee, San Diego. I got San Diego 6. San Diego is 10. That's ridiculous. And 43.5. San Diego can't beat anybody by 10. Tennessee's terrible. We know they're the worst team. Maybe it's an under because Cam Ward's probably the worst quarterback. I don't really know why they're playing Cam Ward. Selling tickets? Oh, really? And you're 1-7. You're really selling tickets? Yeah, there's no way you can lay 10 here. 43.5 probably goes under because Tennessee's not going to score. I got Green Bay 10 over Carolina. Green Bay's 12.5. Seems a little high in 45. Green Bay's not that good. Carolina, it depends. Andy Dalton didn't play well last week, but if it's Steve Young, yeah, I could maybe lay 12.5. Micah Parsons, I don't know. They don't know how to use him. Green Bay, 12.5 is a bit much. 40. Carolina, they're not that bad, but they're not 4-4. They're an 0-8 team. They just played such a weak schedule. Minnesota, Detroit. I got Detroit -10. Detroit -8.5. And 47.5. Definitely got to like Detroit here. Minnesota is terrible. Who's their quarterback? Wentz. Wentz is terrible. You wish J.J. McCarthy was in there. He'd throw 5 picks. Detroit at home. Big game for them. Yeah, I think they win. The Bears at Cincy. I got Cincy -3. It's Chicago -3. You've got to be kidding. And 52.5. This is wrong. Cincinnati with Flacco scores, right? I mean, they put up 38, 39, 33 on the Steelers, 39 last week. They score. That's not the problem. They have a bad defense, but the Bears don't have a good offense. They still have Fields or Caleb or whatever. They're all the same. Caleb stinks. They made Baltimore look good. Baltimore is not a good defensive team. So I think Cincy's a very live dog in this game. The Rams in New Orleans, I got the Rams -7. The Rams are minus 13.5. Are you kidding me? 45. It's a big number in pros, 13.5. New Orleans sucks. We all know that. Spencer Rattler was terrible at Oklahoma. He's all of a sudden he's good. He shouldn't be the quarterback. Their defense is okay. The Rams probably win big. They were on a bye. So it wouldn't surprise me that they do. It's just a tough line to do. All right, Oakland 3 over Jacksonville, and Jacksonville is 345.5 over Oakland at Oakland. I don't buy Jacksonville being a road favorite. Our little friend Trevor Lawrence, who sucks, Geno Smith, who throws a lot of interceptions, is it the offensive line? Well, I know Brock Bowers has been out. So without Brock Bowers, it's difficult. When you lose your best player, the best tight end in the league, it's very difficult on the quarterback. So the quarterback gets the blame because Brock Bowers is out. Well, that's ridiculous. But Jacksonville, they're a very weak team. Buffalo, KC, I got KC -3, KC's -1, and 52.5. Probably an over. I prefer KC in this game over Buffalo. Mahomes on a roll. We've seen Buffalo really struggle the last few weeks. Finally got it going against Carolina with Andy Dalton. Total 52.5. KC's got a very good defense. Buffalo doesn't. And that's really the edge. That's why I like KC. They got the better team, the better coach. The fact it's in Buffalo, big deal. It might snow. I mean, who knows? We're getting into November. Seattle goes to Washington. I got Seattle -3. It is Seattle -3 and 46. Now, do we have Daniels? If we have Daniels, Washington's very live here. If we don't have Daniels, and they're going to go with Mariota, then it's Seattle bet. So we'll see. In our last game, Dallas 4 over Arizona. Dallas is 3 and 54 over Arizona. So we've got to wait for the quarterbacks, who's playing and who isn't. See, here's where it gets, because there's a big difference between Penix and Kirk Cousins. To get blown out by Miami, you got to really be terrible, Kirk Cousins. Todd, hey, Todd. Teaser tie with Pitt, KC winner on my 7-point teaser. Well, wouldn't it just go? So let's say you played a 5-team teaser and you tie, it should go down to a 4-team teaser. You don't lose the teaser. You should win it. Is Arizona State quarterback playing? I like them as a dog. I don't know. Did he get hurt? He played last week. Levitt was hurt, but he played. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see the injury, which probably comes out tomorrow. So you got the password for this week. All right. All right. So Arizona. Okay. So that's the pros. So if I rank the pros, I pulled the stats. I got to then look at the numbers. So if I see like Baltimore's 30 points, gives up 30 points, they're an over team because they have a good offense and no defense. So you're basically just reading the team. Who are you? Because we got to have a reason to bet them. And so we're looking to bet against weakness. And that's what people don't understand. We're looking to bet against the Z teams. I took Southern Miss last week, playing Lou Monroe. I mean, why am I playing Southern Miss? Because they're playing Lou Monroe, and they won by 30. And I was laying, I think, 5 or 6. It was an easy winner. but that's the same thing with North Texas over Charlotte. I played against the Z team, but we got to know their Z teams and rank them. Some of the MAC teams I've moved up from Z teams to W because they won last week. I think Kent and Akron both got wins. Well, wait a minute. They're not Z's if they're winning. They're Z's if they're losing 38-0. But if they start winning, because I want to bet against the Z, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah, there's teaser cards. Well, when we used to go to Vegas, that winning ties win. So I would play the ties win teaser cards, and I think there was that, and then there was half point teaser cards. So every spread was like 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. So you couldn't tie. You had to either win or lose. But yeah, I don't know what's out there. Just be careful betting on FanDuel. Make sure your odds are good and your line is good. Try to get the best line. On scores and odds, it does give you all the books, right? It gives you FanDuel, but I don't consider them books. I consider the Venetian and William Hill and Caesars books. I do not consider FanDuel a sports book. I think that's bullshit. So I can quickly eyeball this. Miami's terrible. We know they're a Z team. Baltimore, they still don't have Lamar, and I can't see Lamar playing. If he didn't play Sunday with the hamstring, it's a serious hamstring. You're out 4 weeks with the hamstring. No, that's a tear. So I can't imagine him playing Thursday. So you got Huntley against Miami. Baltimore has to win. They're off a lot of injuries. Miami's terrible. Tagovailoa. So I don't know. Denver, Houston. That's a very good game. Denver is, I think, an A team, and Houston is an under. C.J. Stroud's terrible. All C.J. Stroud does is check down. Caleb, check down. They can't throw 10-yard passes. I've never seen anything like it. I was just watching the highlights of Houston Frisco, and it was check down to Marks, the USC running back, and you're like, who's the defensive coordinator for San Francisco? Are they this stupid? He's obviously going to check down. He threw one pass to Marks, and the guy went 50 yards with it. And you're like, there was nobody there, and you're like, why aren't you guarding Marks on the little short passes? Because that's all he does. These coaches are fucking stupid. It's the worst I've ever seen. The coaches, the coordinators, the managers in baseball. Yeah, let's pitch to Shohei 4 times, 2 doubles and 2 home runs, and we go 18 innings with them. Where really all I had to do is if I walked them 4 times, we don't win the game 5-0. What kind of dumb fucking manager does Toronto have? Oh, let me pull Scherzer after 5. I mean, this is how stupid these guys are. And no wonder it's so hard to bet on sports. You got idiots managing it. What the fuck? Oh, my God. All right, Indy, they're not the best team. Kansas City's the best team. The Eagles are good. The Rams in Seattle are very good. Philadelphia can be good when they try. Now, again, they're not trying because they won the Super Bowl. And they're in space somewhere. It's like you're dating this hot girl. You don't even know what day it is until you wake up. So anyway, that's where it is. Speaking of dating a hot girl, so Daria in Russia, she tells me when the U.S. shoots missiles into Russia, they take the internet down because then the missiles have the targets go away when the internet's gone. So they put up targets on the internet and the missiles go to the targets. So by taking the internet down, the missiles don't have a target to go to. She says, so that's why sometimes I don't have internet. Well, she hasn't had internet since yesterday. So they must be shelling Russia. I don't know. It's crazy because she says they're hitting like apartment complexes and stuff, not military targets. I mean, the U.S. is a bunch of scumbags. Let's have a war. Let's go have a war in Venezuela. Let's go have a war in Israel. Let's go have this and that. They let 9/11 happen. That's why Israel's so popular, so powerful. Is 9/11? They stole all the gold. So they have the gold, Israel. Now the gold's going up in price. So they have the money and they control all the U.S. politicians. What a bunch of fucking idiots. All right. Sorry for the sidetrack. So the Niners go to the Giants. Well, Indy's probably the second or third best team. They're a very good team. Pitt has no defense for some reason. I don't understand it. They look like shit. They look like shit against Green Bay, and they're not going to look like anything against Indy. Frisco go to the Giants. The Giants dart nothing, and Scatterboo was the team, and he's out for years with the dislocated ankle. Very painful. They don't have a defense. The Niners are getting healthy. The Niners got they might be getting Purdy back. They got Ayuk back and Jennings, and they got McCaffrey's been playing. Defensively, they're in trouble without Warner. So they're okay. I don't know. It's a tough ask for them to go to the Giants at 10 o'clock in the morning as a favorite. You would like the Niners as a dog here. Atlanta, New England, it depends if Penix plays. New England, very strong. They're a decent team. I do not trust Drake May at all. They're not winning because of him. They're playing good defense, and it's Mike Vrabel mostly. Stevenson's running nicely. Atlanta, it's all up to Penix. If Penix plays, they're a very live dog here. If he doesn't play, you got to rely on Kirk Cousins. That guy sucks. I don't know why he's on the team. I would just say, I'll pay you. Go work at the Kroger's. Please go away. San Diego, Tennessee. This line's way too high. 10. You can't have a road favorite in the NFL 10 points. They might win by 20, but you can't have it do it. We got to bet before the game. There's no way you can take Tennessee in 16 with Cam Ward. He's terrible. He shouldn't be playing. It's retarded. Let's play a guy who sucks. And what is the expected outcome? What is Tennessee's expected outcome? I'd love to talk to the coach or the president or the owner. What's your expected outcome when you play Cam Ward? You must expect to lose. You must expect him to turn the ball over 4 or 5 times. Are you expecting to win with Cam Ward? Do you think he's good? Well, we'll get him experience. No, this isn't the experience you get him. Where am I at here? So San Diego, Harbaugh's terrible. Herbert, good and bad. Defense isn't showing up. I don't know. San Diego doesn't look very good right now either. Carolina, Green Bay. Carolina's terrible, even with Steve Young. They're not going to be good. Green Bay, Love is very inconsistent. Micah Parsons is good. I would expect Carolina to run at Micah Parsons. That's what I would do. It's like Lawrence Taylor. You run right at him because he's too fast to run away from. So you run at him. And so I don't know. Green Bay is a much better team at home. Lombardi's there. So maybe that. The total, I don't know. Detroit Mini, as I said, Mini has no quarterback. They got Jefferson. Detroit, I think Detroit gets them. Let's make that our free play. Detroit minus 2.5. That's a good free play. Detroit at home. Minnesota's offers no competition at all except for Jefferson. Quarterback stinks. The defense is not as good. Detroit is playing well. They're on a bye. They need it. They're trailing Green Bay. So as long as Detroit's trailing Green Bay, they need to win. They will play very strong. So free play Detroit. Chicago and Cincinnati. Why is Chicago a road favorite with Caleb? Are you kidding me? Wow, that makes no sense. Cincinnati can score with Flacco. I mean, they didn't lose because they scored. They didn't score. They're losing because their defense is bad. And basically, the Jets ran at them. It wasn't Fields. Fields did nothing. So, you know, I don't see Caleb doing much here. I don't think the Bears can stop it. Maybe this is an over game, but since he's a very live dog here, New Orleans and the Rams 13 and a half. It's a big number. New Orleans is terrible, another Z team. The Rams, it's hard because in the NFL, you're just trying to win. You're not trying to win by 30. Although we were impressed. Indy did kill Tennessee by 30 last week. So that was very unusual that they kept scoring and won. There probably was some turnovers involved with Cam Ward, of course. Jacksonville, Oakland, this is a real fucked up game. Oakland is terrible. Not having Brock Bowers is hurting them. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence is terrible. This is a game of two probably Z teams. Good luck. The kid from Colorado, what a wasted pick that was. You never draft a wide receiver with the third pick in the draft. It's not a position that they already have the kid from LSU as the wide receiver. What are you going to do with the Colorado kid? You're going to throw to him? No, you're going to throw to the LSU guy. He's better. So it's really a stupid pick. We'll play him at cornerback. Yeah, sure you will. Okay. KC Buffalo, game of the week. Normally we love when KC's the dog. I'm actually surprised KC's a 1. KC's playing very well, as we saw last night, although Mahomes did throw 3 picks. Buffalo, KC's a step ahead of Buffalo, I think. Seattle and Washington, it's all up to Daniels. If he plays, they're good. If he doesn't play, you're not betting Mariota. And then Arizona, Dallas. Dak, again, it's good offense, no defense. Arizona, I mean, Brissett's actually much better than Kyler Murray, which is hard to believe that Murray's so bad now. But if Brissett plays, definitely they're playable. With Kyler Murray, I don't know. Dallas doesn't have a defense. So your best team in the league right now is Kansas City. If we go through it, let's go through the standings. Forget the power ratings. It's who you play, right? So if we go through the best teams, well, New England is not the best team, even though they're 6-2. Buffalo, 5-2. Pitt, Cincy, Baltimore, Cleveland, they all suck. Indy's good. Houston's a defensive team. Denver, 6-2. We all know Kansas City's better than Denver. San Diego, terrible coach. NFC, you got Philly, you got Green Bay, you got Tampa, and you got Seattle and the Rams. So those are your teams. But you have more bad teams. New Orleans 1-7, Arizona 2-5, Minnie 3-4, but I don't buy that. The Giants 2-6, lost their best player in Scatterboo. In the AFC, the Jets are 1-7, Miami 2-6, both teams suck. Cleveland's 2-6, they suck. Tennessee's 1-7, they couldn't win a game in the Big Ten. And Oakland at 2-5. If these guys were in the SEC or the Big Ten, they wouldn't be winning there either. All right, so that's the NFL. You got to be careful of the quarterback. Mariota, we're not betting Washington. If Daniels would have played last night, I would have played Washington at 12, but I don't think the spread would have been 12. But with Mariota, you can't play Washington. With Kirk Cousins, apparently, you can't play Atlanta. He is terrible. You got to understand, Miami's got a 29 defense. Means Baylor would put up 40 points on them, right? TCU. Indiana would light them up for 40, the college Indiana. USC would put up 35 on them. And Kirk Cousins in Atlanta puts up 10 on them. How can that be? Was that game fixed? Or it's just Kirk Cousins, the worst quarterback in the league? Well, I think we know Kirk Cousins is probably the worst quarterback in the league. So you got to be careful. I mean, if we rank the quarterbacks, Carson Wentz shouldn't be in the NFL. Stroud, very weak. Wasn't very good at Ohio State. Caleb, way overrated. Huntley, come on, in Baltimore. Allen's okay. Dalton, I thought was okay. Dart should never be starting. Maybe next year, maybe. Hurts is average. Gabriel, I like. Drake May is average. Fields is terrible. Flacco is apparently okay. Tua is terrible. Cousins could be the worst. He couldn't start back if he went to Michigan State. Tam Baker's good. Rattler's terrible. Ward's terrible. Daniel Jones, who we thought was terrible, is turning into a good one. Dak's too many interceptions. Bo Nix is good. Love's okay. Rodgers, superstar. Mariota, terrible. Mahomes, superstar. And so this is basically the problem in the league. You have these quarterbacks that couldn't start on half the Big Ten teams or the SEC teams. Right? They couldn't start at Tennessee. Joey Aguilar would be your starter. All right. College, I filled in the rankings. I filled in the spreads, the defenses. So tonight we got Kennesaw State and UTEP. Kennesaw State under team, 21 defense, UTEP and under with a 24. Kennesaw State's 10-point favorites. Hard to bet a 10-point favorite as an under to bet it. James Madison, Texas State. James Madison, 758. They're the A team. Texas State, we know they can score, but they have a 31 defense. So this is the typical, they go up and down the field, score, and you come up and down the field and score on them. James Madison with a good defense, but I don't think, here's where I'm kind of, because they're playing this Texas State team, I don't think James Madison's 15 defense is going to play. And it's at Texas State, and it's a fucking Tuesday. Jackson State, Middle Tennessee. This is tomorrow. Middle Tennessee's the Z team. Jacksonville State's actually an over team with the 26 defense. They're favored by 6. Florida International, Missouri State, 2 W teams playing. Tulane and UTSA. UTSA's not as explosive. They're an over team, but they're not as explosive as they usually are. McCown is not the same. Maybe there's an injury. Maybe a receiver went down that he likes to throw to. Tulane and E team, 3-55 there. Marshall and Coastal Carolina. Marshall's an over team this year with a 31 defense. And Coastal Car's a W with the 28. The game's at Coastal Car. So Marshall's 4-54, and that's Thursday. Friday, 3 games. Memphis, an A team, 20 defense, just beat UTSA, I think. Maybe one of those good teams. And Rice, a W team with the 28. North Carolina, the Belichick's under with the 23. And Syracuse, really an under team with this new quarterback. So their quarterback got hurt. The backup is not that good. And Memphis is 14. Syracuse is actually a 1.5 favorite, 46. And then Sam Houston, a Z team, goes against L-Tech and under. L-Tech 16-50. So your Z teams, Wednesday, Middle Tennessee, and on Friday, Sam Houston. Key games on Saturday. Navy, North Texas is a very good game. North Texas 6-64. We know North Texas can score, and the Navy, they're going to play keep away. They're going to run it. The 20-minute drive, the whole quarter drive, running down the field against North Texas, keeping the ball out of North Texas's hand. You'd have to be careful on the over here. The over is 64, but if Navy plays Navy football, it won't get to 44. Army, Air Force. The Air Force is terrible. An over team with a 37 defense. I've never seen Air Force with this bad of a defense. This is normally an under because they're just both going to Army, Navy it and run, but this is a 49. Hard to say. Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State was 4.5 for an hour or two on Sunday. It ends up with 21. So it's 21, total of 44. Penn State, the coach is gone. The quarterback's got a broken ankle. He's gone. Ohio State, killer 6 defense. Look for Penn State to get shut out there. We'll see. Duke and Clemson, an interesting game. Clemson 3.5, 55. Duke, a very explosive team, an over team. Duke, Clemson, we don't know what they are. They're pretty bad this year. Vandy in Texas, the game of the day. Texas 2.5, 45. Daggio is a dog. You got to bet Daggio is a dog there. 18 defense. Vandy has a good defense. 18. They just beat Missouri. Their only loss coming to Alabama. Texas has lost a couple times. They lost to Ohio State. They lost to there was another game they lost. I don't remember. I know they've got 2 losses and a 14 defense. So Daggio should be a live dog here. Miami, SMU, a battle of the A teams. Miami is 10-51 at SMU. Little surprise there. UCF and Baylor. Baylor is 4.5 and 60. Let's make this our free play. We're going to go over. It's Baylor. I've gone over with Baylor, I think, every week, and I've won every week with Baylor. So let's keep it simple, stupid. As my boss at Hiram Walker, the whiskey company, said, he'd say, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You can't get any simpler than Baylor in a 60. Delane 4.5. We don't even care what the point spread is. It's just they got the best quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, and not a good defense. 32 defense. UCF, pretty good offense. Forget their 17 defense. It won't show up here. That's not the next level I'm at is understanding the team's got a good defense, but if you play this Baylor offense, it ain't going to be a good defense against Baylor. Maybe Ohio State could kind of calm Baylor down. That would be 1 or 2 of the teams I would not bet Baylor over. Maybe Alabama. But otherwise, the teams, you would love Baylor and Tennessee. I would, if it was under 100, I would go over with the game. But UCF, I don't buy the 17 here. They'll be in the 50s, right? It won't be 17. So depending on the style of offense, so a team plays a weak offense, a team that doesn't score much, the defense kind of is immaterial. Ohio State will dictate the Penn State game. Penn State will not score in the game. You leave it to Ohio State, and then it's Ohio State or the under. But it just depends who you play. Anyway, so that's kind of the next level I'm looking at instead of just looking at the points. Yeah, but if it's a really explosive team, are they really going to be under? Texas Tech, Kansas State. Texas Tech 7 and 52. Texas Tech, we'll see if the quarterback's back. They're the best team in the Big 12. They're a top 5 team. Great defense, great running back. The quarterback's great. If he's healthy, Morton. The other one was okay. They beat Oak State, who's a Z team, 48-0 last week. And they were laying 35. So if Morton is back, Texas Tech. If he's not, we got to be careful. You mentioned Arizona State, Iowa State. We'll see if the quarterback's playing. I do have a question mark there. Iowa State 5.5, 50. We'll see the spread. You won't need to read. If the spread goes to 3.5, quarterback's playing. If it goes to 7, quarterback's not playing. Uh, Arizona State's a good team. The quarterback's really good. Iowa State, I don't know. They gave up a lot of points to BYU last week, 47. I don't know how much defense, how many turnovers there was, but Iowa State never would give up 47 points. They'd play 21-20 games. So that was surprising last week. Notre Dame, 28-57. We know they're an A team. They're playing better defense. 41-40, they lost to A&M, and they lost to Miami, and then they beat USC by 10, our big lock. Boston College, an over team with a 34 defense. So they can score, but their defense sucks. So look for Ohio State to put up a lot of points on this defense. The question is going to be, is Notre Dame going to shut down BC? Now, they did shut down Arkansas, and that goes into my theory. Since they shut down Arkansas, they'll probably shut down BC. But you're laying 28. It's a pretty big number. Because if they're up 20 late in the game, they're going to win by 20. They're not going to cover for you. Our Georgia Tech, 6-57 to NC State. Georgia Tech, great team. A team, 20 defense. NC State, an even team with a 30. NC State's really, they show as an over team. But when you look at who they played, when they play good teams, they don't score. They scored against high school teams and Z teams. So Georgia Tech should handle it. Great game here. Cincinnati, Utah. Both are A teams. Sorsby, quarterback Cincinnati, beat my Kansas team, motherfucker. Utah, I love. Dampier did not play, and they put up 50 points on Colorado with a backup quarterback who's a freshman, who's a runner type of quarterback. Dampier's a runner, but he can throw. Utah is 7, total of 56. Utah with a great defense, 14, and Cincy a 19 defense. So this is a real hard game because you kind of want to go over, but you look at these defenses, it makes it difficult. Then maybe depending on if Dampier's the quarterback or if he isn't, maybe it's a dog play. I think Cincinnati will stay in there. The question is, do you get 50 points in the game? Or do you – I don't see how you can go under with Utah Cincy. It's either over or the dog, depending on the quarterbacks. Louisville v. Tech. Louisville, I hate Miller Moss. He sucked at USC. Louisville, the 18 with the 21 defense. Virginia Tech's terrible. W with the 29 defense. You basically are looking at Louisville beat Miami, and so you think, oh, well, they're really good. The roofing review of the house that I lived at, which is my brother's house 10 years ago. What the fuck? Why am I getting this bullshit? All right. I'm expecting to hear from Melissa soon. All right. Well, my text her, we'll see. I was expecting about now. Let's see. Now, here's an interesting one. Old D, who's getting killed, but they're playing Lou Monroe, who's a Z team. And Old D's a 14-point favorite, 53, and they're an over team. So, again, I had Southern Miss against Lou Monroe and one last week. Now it's the same thing. Do I take Old D against the Z team? But Old D, I don't know. Southern Miss is a good team this year. Old D, they're struggling. The Georgia-Florida game, Georgia with the A team with the 19 defense, Florida an under with the 20. Um, this is a big rivalry game. Georgia, they've been playing decently. Their defense is a 19, though. A normal Georgia defense is 10, 8, 12. So they're a little bit weak defensively for some reason. And here, Florida, though, is terrible. I think their coach got fired. I don't like their quarterback. It's a tough one. Maybe we take Georgia, but it's not that clear cut. Indy goes to Maryland. Indy looks great. They run it down your throat. The quarterback can throw. Their defense is solid. Their coach is solid. They're the A team. They got the 10 defense. So it's a complete team, good offense and a 10 defense. Part of the reason it's a 10 defense because they run down, they do 12 play drives and score, and their defense is well rested. And then you get down and you got to throw and you're screwed. Maryland, a B team with the 17. Maryland did play Washington pretty good at home, 28-24. It's a 22. It seems like a big number to go to Maryland and win, but Indiana's playing very well. Total of 51. Maybe that's doable. Can Maryland score? They do have a pretty good quarterback, Maryland. I was watching the Maryland-Nebraska game. Now, that was a 34-31 game. So I think Maryland could score on Indy. They're not going to stop Indy. I think you get a similar type of game as the Nebraska game. Total of 51, 45. I think that's doable. 24-21 seems pretty doable for Indiana. Can Maryland put up points? But since they did on Nebraska, who we think is a good defense, possibly here. That's the thing. Is Nebraska really a good defense? We think they're a good defense, but if we look at it, let me see if I can find Nebraska. Nebraska's got a 19 defense, but Maryland put up 31 on them. So it's a decent defense. Arkansas gets Old Mississippi State. Old Mississippi State played a 100-point game with Texas. Unbelievable. Like, where did that come from? Both teams have good defenses. It was shocking. So Arkansas, we know scored. We know they're an over. They score a lot. They give up 32. Old Mississippi State, they'll score. They got Blake Shapen, who's the Baylor quarterback, who got beat out or injured, and now he's at Mississippi State. And you put up, 40, 50 points on Texas. Jesus. I would think that would be a high-scoring game. Kansas, Oak State, Kansas 24, total of 57. Oak State's terrible. They're the Z team. They have a 39 defense. Look for Daniels to go wild here for Kansas. South Carolina gets Ole Miss. Ole Miss went to Oklahoma and pounded them. South Carolina under team, 21 defense, and they just shot their wad against the Alabama. They played. They should have won. They were winning with 3 minutes left. They give up 2 touchdowns to lose by 7. And I think that was their game. Sellers just runs. He's not a good thrower anymore or whatever happened. Ole Miss, they're laying 13 and 54, but South Carolina's not going to help you with scoring. A little bit, not much. Ole Miss should score. Purdue and Michigan 21-51. They're the B team. Purdue's not a bad team this year, an E team. Oklahoma and Tennessee, this should be a good game. Oklahoma, a B team with a 12 defense. Tennessee, an over team with a 30. Tennessee, 3.5, 56. So you can get Oklahoma as a dog. And total of 56. You got another contrarian play. You got Tennessee, the team that'll score 50, but maybe not here. And Oklahoma with the good defense, maybe not. What was that, Oklahoma? Yeah, it was 34-26 Ole Miss. I was smart enough to play Ole Miss knowing they'd hold it. But the fact that Ole Miss got 34 on them, and now here comes, they go to Tennessee. Tennessee's going to put 34 on them. So all of a sudden, the total of 56, I don't know. And then you take Oklahoma as a dog at Tennessee. Tennessee's going to be wild on Saturday night. All these SEC, LSU, Auburn, Alabama on Saturday night, you got to be very, very careful if you want to play against them. But Oklahoma could be a live dog here. Tennessee's going to score on them. We just saw Mississippi score on them. And that kind of defines Oklahoma. You think, oh, they're this killer defense because they beat Michigan. But Michigan didn't have a quarterback, right? And so then you see Oklahoma, Texas. Texas puts up 23 on them. Okay. Now Ole Miss puts up 30 on them. Okay. Tennessee, we know, is going to put up 30 on them, and Texas. So they're going to do that. USC goes to Nebraska, a night game. USC 6-58. They're an over team, but pretty decent defense. Nebraska's a B team with a 19 defense, which we don't believe because we saw Maryland put up 31 on them. Michigan put up 30 with that inept offense. So I don't buy Nebraska's this 19 defense. USC, it's a night game. They don't have to play it at 5 a.m. Fucking idiots with the TV. And that's it. So that's your bigger college games. Your SEC, your Big 10, your Big 12 are your key ones. We're looking, let's look at, okay, let's play Art of War. We told you ZT Middle Tennessee on Wednesday and then Sam Houston on Friday. But let's kind of break it down scientifically, not emotionally here. So we got Army going to Air Force, and Air Force with the 37 defense. Army should be somewhat successful there. We got Rutgers, Illinois. We got Rutgers with the 30 defense, but Illinois with the 27. We got UAB, UConn, UAB with a 38 defense. We've got West Virginia, Houston. West Virginia, a Z team with a 30 defense against Houston. We got UCF, Baylor with a 32 defense, but Baylor with a 50 offense. And that's our free play. Let me just highlight it. Notre Dame, Boston College with the 34 defense. Georgia Tech, NC State with the 30 defense against Haynes King. Good luck. UNLV with a 33 defense, an over team. New Mexico also an over team with the 24. We got Lou Lafayette, South Alabama. Both teams have 30 defenses. We got Lou Monroe, the Z team we talked about against Old D with the 33 defense. If I say they're a Z team in college, they're pretty much mid-30 defense. Michigan State, over team with the 32 defense, plays Minnesota, who's a pretty solid team at home. Arkansas, 32 defense, usually plays over games. Look at the A&M game, right? Oak State, the Z team in the Big 12, 39 defense. Then there's a correlation why they're a Z team, because they have no defense. If they're a good team, they have a good defense. Sort of like Wyoming, they got a 19 defense. Okay, so they're not a Z team. We've got Kentucky, a 30 defense, very unusual for them against Auburn. We got Tennessee, a 30 defense against Oklahoma. They'll be able to score. Oregon State, a 32 defense to Washington State. And that's basically it. So if you just want to bet the 30 defense, bet against the 30 defenses, there you go. If you just want to bet against Z teams, we want to bet against weakness. That's the point of it. How else do you pick games? What are you looking for? We want to bet Ohio State. We want to bet certain teams under, certain team Baylor over. But you have to have a reason for the bet. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You have the reason, and then the bet comes in, fine. And college is far easier than pros because they're pros are fucked because they're paying the starting quarterback. Look at the Lions, Jared Goff. They pay $50 million. So the backup is Joe Smith. I mean, he's terrible. So like now Penix, they're not paying him a lot yet. They're actually paying Kirk Cousins more. They got to send Kirk Cousins packing. Go to the grocery store. He's terrible. If he's going to be that bad, you're not helping the team. But that's where you get when you start paying these players, like Miami, you start playing Tyreek Hill, you're paying Tua. I don't know what they're paying Tua, but if you're paying him, you're out of your mind, first of all. And secondly, you don't have a lot of backups that are any good because you don't have any money left. Pay Tyreek Hill $30 million, pay Tua $30 million, $40 million. I got nothing left for my defense and any of my backups. And that's the problem. That's why you see such shit backups in the NFL. Carson Wentz and and whatchamacallit, Kirk Cousins, because it's too much money. College, there's no salary cap, so they pay the guys. All right, I want to show you alligator real quick before Alyssa pulls me away. You never know with Alyssa if we're going to be together or it's just bullshit, but. Okay, so this is Alligator talking about what's going on in the comex paper market.
Robinhood Gold offers one of the highest APYs available.
Nobody cares.
Sign up for Robinhood Gold now.
Really? I got to go through 2 commercials? Fuck off.
We've seen various large American banks, turning bullish on gold. I mean, Jamie Dimon said he wouldn't be surprised if we went between 5,000 and 10,000. You had Morgan Stanley saying, you should put 20% of your portfolio into gold, which actually is they've turned bullish. And from the point of view of market makers, the bullion banks who are trading, if you like, on the right side of the quote, this is not helpful to them at all to have this. So this is why, if someone told me that there was a coordinated move to basically bash gold and silver and also platinum group metals lower, I could believe it.
Gold just broke above $4,000. Silver is testing $48 to $50, and yet prices suddenly crashed 5 to 7% in a single week. Meanwhile, the biggest banks on Wall Street, JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley, are now calling for gold to hit $5,000 to $10,000 an ounce. So why this sudden plunge? Alistair McLeod says it's no coincidence. The bullion banks just declared war on gold and silver, trying to shake out weak hands before the next explosion higher. The real battle for sound money may have just begun.
I think basically, when you look at how much gold and silver and indeed platinum group metals have soared in recent months, some sort of correction was definitely on the cards. But the interesting thing is that the whole thing has really been a short squeeze. If you look on comex in particular, the speculators are just not there. I mean, they haven't really bought into it. The way I would measure that interest is looking at open interest. An open interest in gold is less than half the long-term average. Open interest in silver is roughly at the long-term average. I mean, there are obviously a few speculators in there, hedge funds, whatever. Not all that many. So this shakeout, it looks sort of suspiciously coordinated. I don't mean that, over the weekend, various bullion banks got together and had a meeting and decided to bash the market. But you do get this feeling, when you're a jobber. I mean, I've known jobbers, which is really what they do. I mean, the market maker is a jobber, basically. I've known these guys. I've been on the other side of them since 1970. And they do have this sense, if you like, in the market when it's right to bash the price of something which they're short of. It's almost like a second sense. And if they haven't got it, they're not going to survive terribly long in whatever they're dealing in. So if one good dealer has got the feeling this is the moment when it's going to come off, the others also have the same feeling. So, you get this sort of compounding effect. And of course, I think what the buyers are doing in this, and remember, we're not talking retail market here, we're talking about wholesale market, and we're talking about big derivatives. The buyers, I think, they would just sit on their hands and watch this play out a bit before they decide, shall we buy some? And if so, what's a level? And so on and so forth. So, this is why I think this shakeout has been so severe. I mean, I'm looking at what's happened in silver. I mean, silver is down nearly 7%. Platinum's down 5.7%. Palladium down 5.3%. And gold, as you said earlier, is 5%. I mean, these, given the rise that we've seen, this isn't actually all that great. I mean, you would just say, this is volatility. I've always told people, don't trade this market. I mean, you'd be nuts to trade it because the guys on the other end are so powerful. They'll take every cent you've got off you if you're going to trade it. And, the answer basically is that you've got to work out why you're interested in gold and silver. You've got to understand what gold and silver are, particularly gold in the current context, what it is. You've got to understand that it is legal money without counterparty risk. Forget what the US Treasury says about gold being a pet rock or whatever. The reality is that in our common law and in everyone's common law, gold is money, it's final settlement, there is no counterparty risk. And the volatility
and it can't be inflated.
Isn't so much in gold. Obviously there's been volatility in gold, but it's mainly in the currencies. So
real quickly, he's talking about paper gold, not physical gold. So the fact that some of the traders are shorting it because they're buried in their positions because they're idiots. So they've been buying and they got a short to get down to the price to get out of their options. So that's all it is, right? They're in an option at 3,500. So they're trying to short it to get down to 3,500 to get out of their options because they're gonna lose billions. This is a paper move. People trying to get out of their shorts. So they it's Eddie Murphy. We're going to short it at 3,500 and we'll sell it at 30 and we'll buy it at 3,400 and then it goes up to 4,000 and they can't get out of their positions. Again, morons playing gold as if they're stocks. You can't. These are not something you play like stocks. These are not stocks. But this is a paper-driven move to try to get out. It's got nothing to do. The buyers are sitting there, as he said, and they're gonna jump in. And now they're calling for $10,000 gold. I don't know how you call 5 to 10,000, but $10,000 gold. So once this bullshit happens and it starts getting bought, the people that are selling now won't be able to play anymore because they'll be buried. So the buyers are just sitting there saying, what kind of deal can I get? These guys are lowering it down to 3,900 for gold. Great, I'll buy it there. They're waiting to buy it. It's just at what point they're going to buy it at. So that's what's going on. They're trying to get out of their options. Again, playing options instead of physical. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. All right.
And you see, for example, the People's Bank of China buying gold. The way to look at it is actually they're selling dollars.
No, they're buying gold.
And they have other use for those funds, but basically they don't want dollars. So that's, if you like, the sort of their gold purchases are almost the small change which they haven't got any other use for because they've got quite enough gold. Not necessarily within their reserves, but the nation has lots of gold. Spread around various accounts, including the People's Liberation Army, the Communist Youth Wing, and so on and so on and so on. So that's the way to look at it. So you've got to think, okay, do I buy gold because I think that paper currencies are going to lose purchasing power? If you think that, then the answer is yes, and you hold it, you hoard it, you tuck it away.
Never
Otherwise, don't mess
profitate.
with it. Forget it. It's a waste. You'll just have sleepless nights if you try and trade it, because I can tell you, you try and trade this market, they will take you for every cent you've got.
But why would you want to get back into dollars? Only an idiot would not realize the dollar's worthless. So if I'm trading it as trade to make money, there's no point. The money you're making has no value. The gold has the value. You buy the gold to get out of the dollar. You're not playing the stupid option game. These people are just morons. They're Keynesians. They do not understand that gold can't be inflated, and or meaning it can't be printed. It can't lose its value. The dollar's worthless. That goes right over their head. That's why we're sitting there and we're just loving it, going, wow, we're buying gold and we're holding it and we're watching the price go up and we'll be fine. When the collapse happens, we'll be fine. But most people aren't in our world and don't understand it. That's why we don't worry about this. It's just paper games.
That's the reality of it. I think there's another point which is worth making. We've seen various large American banks, turning bullish on gold. I mean, Jamie Dimon said he wouldn't be surprised if we went between 5,000 and 10,000. You had Morgan Stanley saying, you should put 20% of your portfolio into gold, which actually is an extraordinary statement from an establishment bank like that. I could imagine that Scott Bessent would sort of phone him up and say, "Why are you messing up my world?" But so they've turned bullish, and from the point of view of market makers, the bullion banks who are trading, if you like, on the right side of the quote.
The government is banning this $39 air purifier next month, and this is your last shot to get the original NASA.
Bullion banks who are trading, if you like, on the right side of the quote. This is not helpful to them at all to have this. So this is why, if someone told me that there was a coordinated move to basically bash gold and silver and also platinum group metals lower, I could believe it. I really could, because what they would want, it's not that they're anti-gold or silver, it's just they want to get their position square. And I think this is a desperate attempt to just do that. Let's try and, get our bears closed a bit, and then at least, we can trade it at a higher level. I think that's all. That's what's going on, if you like, in London and New York.
According to veteran economist Alasdair MacLeod, what just happened in the gold and silver markets isn't a collapse. It's a coordinated price attack designed by bullion banks to reset the market before metals launch even higher. After months of massive buying by central banks and sovereign funds, precious metals hit levels that threatened short-side traders. So when gold spiked past $4,100 and silver touched $50, MacLeod believes the market makers stepped in with heavy futures selling, not because fundamentals changed, but because they needed to rebalance positions. He explains that on the COMEX, open interest in gold is still less than half its long-term average. That means speculative traders haven't even joined the rally yet. This isn't a bubble. It's a stealth bull market powered by long-term structural demand. Central banks in Asia and the Middle East are buying record amounts of physical gold to escape US dollar risk. Retail investors, burned by paper gold schemes, are shifting to real bullion. And major hedge funds that missed the early rally are quietly going long. The recent 5 to 7% drop? MacLeod calls it a strategic shakeout, a move meant to trigger margin calls, force leveraged traders out, and reset prices lower so that powerful players can buy back cheaper. He warns ordinary investors, don't trade against these institutions. You can't beat them at their own game. Instead, understand why you own gold and silver. They are
So there you go. They're trying to get the suckers out. They're trying to get the people out who are buying. So they're trying to get the suckers out. They're trying to get some of these short people out. So it's a planned move, this drop. It is not, oh my God, gold's going to go down to zero and we're all going to lose our ass. No, we are fine. It's going to 10 grand. It's not even the real price. As I said, the real price is a physical price, and we don't have a physical price. The price is here. The COMEX is here. Don't worry about the COMEX. Yes, I know it's gone down a little bit, and we're a little bit like, what the fuck? It should keep going up. It should if it wasn't paper. The Mantle card never shifts. It's 80 grand. It never goes down 40. It goes 80 and 85, 90, 95, 100. You never, the Montana rookie, it's up to 110. It's not like it goes down to 70,000. The real assets won't move. The physical gold price, which we don't know what it is a hell of a lot higher. And the fact that the paper gold price with this bullshit derivatives, they're just cleaning out the suckers. We're not suckers. We bought physical. We're ahead of the class. We are, what do we call ourselves? We're thinking fifth dimensionally. We understand the boat sinking. We understand the light boats, gold and silver. We're way 5 steps ahead of everybody. So don't worry about the COMEX. It's not a physical price. It's not because people are selling. They're doing options to get out of their positions. That's all this is, and they're letting it happen and cleaning out the suckers. So don't worry. In a week, it'll be back to 4,300, and it'll be back to $55 silver, and we're going to go, oh, okay. It's just a blip. There's nothing wrong. We have the gold and everything. So we're fine. This is just noise watching the price drop a little bit. Let's see where it's at now. It just shot up. All right. So look at what's happening. It's back to 39.65. It was down to 38 something. And that must have triggered the buy going, okay, that's enough. And now it's 39.65. Silver back into the 47s. It's just give it a week. It'll be back into the 53s. And gold will be back over 4,000, back to 42, 4,300. Again, they had their little fun shorting it. How it's even allowed to happen is bullshit. Why there's options and derivatives in gold and silver. You want to go play over there in that sandbox, fine. But where's the physical price, which should not be connected to this? So anyway, keep that in mind. All right, let's go back to Mark.
They are money without counterparty risk. He reminds viewers
can't
that real
inflate
volatility isn't in gold. It's in the currencies used to price it. When China buys gold, it's not chasing profit. It's selling dollars to defend the yuan's value. And that's the silent signal of a historic change. Across the BRICS and the global south, nations are quietly building a gold-linked trade network, a foundation for what McLeod calls a coming Bretton Woods III moment. As U.S. debt soars and Western banks drown in leverage, this shift toward a gold-anchored system is accelerating. McLeod warns that the West's fiat currency era is nearing its end, and when confidence in debt collapses, capital will rush into the only assets with real settlement value, gold and silver.
Theoretically, we're in a monopoly. We hate monopolies except for in this case, because we're in gold and silver, and there is no other option because all the dollars are printed to zero. Swiss franc, British pound, euro, US dollar, Canadian, yen, ruble, they're all worth zero. The only money worth anything is gold and silver. So we are in a monopoly, and we know what happens in monopolies. The price goes up because there's no other choice. And once the demand hits and once we blow up COMEX, they might not blow it up, but it's basically nobody's looking at their price. Everybody must be laughing going, gold's at 3,900. It was 43. It's 39. For what? How are you developing the price? It's all bullshit. And the more people that realize it's bullshit, but you never get out of gold, physical gold and silver. You own physical and you never get out of it because there's nowhere to go to it. So if you're selling dollars to get into gold, why would you sell gold to get back into dollars that's sinking? So there's never profit taking. There's no bubble because the value of gold isn't determined yet. The real value of gold is probably $20,000, $25,000 an ounce, not this $4,000 an ounce. So how can it be in a bubble? Stocks are in a bubble when the price is $400 for IBM and the financials show $75. That's it. There is no gold is worth that or not. So we will see. All right, a little bit more.
Every major suppression in history, he notes, has eventually fueled a larger rally once forced selling ends. And this one, he believes, could unleash the strongest bull market yet.
Plumbers will never tell you this trick, and once you see it, you'll understand why. Throw away those gross old sink stop.
Could unleash the strongest bull market yet.
The central bank community, particularly in the global south, BRICS and so on and so forth, they can see what China is doing. With the SGE opening vaults in Hong Kong and also Saudi Arabia, and there are probably plans for other ones, or certainly facilities elsewhere, whereby gold can be exchanged for yuan. This is setting up a system which will allow the Chinese, if it is necessary, to protect the yuan's value by turning it into a gold substitute. But that will be at the international trade level. The idea that individuals in China will be allowed to, have a gold exchange, if you like, for their yuan. I mean, I don't see that at all. The authorities in China, I think, are all about hanging on to what they've got. They don't really want to part with it. And I think it would be a mistake to sort of think that the Chinese authorities, whether we're talking about PBOC's reserves or whether we're talking about the hidden holdings, sort of spread around the various communist organizations, government organizations, I don't really see that they will be feeding this new vaulting system outside China. I think they're going to still hang on to their gold. But I think what they will do is they'll say, well, what you could do is you could acquire some gold, put it in that vault. You could exchange it for yuan when it comes to trade settling and all the rest of it, so that you foreign country, have the facility to trade in a gold-backed yuan. They will set the rate at some stage. I think that's inevitably what's going to happen. And it doesn't really require China to part with some of its gold. Maybe a small amount, but basically, I think the idea is to make the yuan, if you like, the dollar's replacement. And this one will be a lot more secure than the dollar. I think that's the important thing. As the dollar declines, we're coming to, there's no doubt in my mind that we're coming to the end of the fiat currency system. The Chinese, I think, are perfectly aware of this, and they want to protect their currency. They want to protect, their position, and they don't want other currencies, for goodness sake. If the dollar goes down, what happens to the other currencies? They go with it. It's as simple as that. So they will want to trade in their own currency. Of that, I'm absolutely convinced. And they will want to protect the value of their currency. So we can see this is beginning to happen. Now, I think the central banks around the world can see it. I think governments are beginning to see it. I think some of the really big players, like ultra high net worth individuals, the sort of really wealthy families around Asia, who liaise with politicians who have them round to dinner and all the rest of it. I think this is the back chat that goes on with these meetings. They know about it. I think that some of the smarter hedge fund managers in the US probably know a little bit about it or suspect it. The rest of the investment world has not got a clue. But you'll find that the information filters down. It'll filter down gradually as events unfold, and there will be if you like, a growing understanding actually about what actually is happening. And we're looking at the end of the fiat dollar. I think this is really what it's all about.
And are we looking then at the new Bretton Woods?
The fiat dollar has been gone since 1971. Once something is not backed by gold, it's worthless. That's why I don't agree with Bitcoin or the stable coin or any digital that's not backed by gold is worthless. The stocks, okay, you're backing by the company, but again, it's in dollars, so it's worthless. The bonds have been worthless, and real estate trust. Now, your house will keep a value because it's a real asset. You want to own real assets, Rolexes, Mantle cards, Picassos, anything that's a real asset you want to own. They'll hold their value. It'll just change from the dollar that's worthless to a gold-backed currency that'll be worthless. As he's saying, the gold-backed yuan will be the new reserve currency. So does that mean when we want to sell an ounce of gold, we get gold-backed yuan for it, and we're going to deal in Chinese? Well, I don't think we deal in Chinese here. I think we still go to Kroger's. We're still using U.S. dollars. They just won't have a value. But that's what you're going to buy. That's why I'm kind of surprised the guy at the gold store is still taking U.S. dollars. I'm pleasantly surprised and very happy because I'm giving him crap monopoly money, and he's giving me gold and silver. And I'm like, just thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But that's where we're at. So never sell your gold for crap, right? You want to be in good money. You want to be in gold. You buy the gold to get out of the dollar. You hold the gold. You ignore comex. You see the price. Blue keeps asking me, why do we look at comex? And I keep saying we only look at comex so we know what the price is going in gold. But we know it's not the real price. It's just the bullshit price. But as long as we know it's the bullshit price, we just want to have an idea. Okay, gold's 4,000, gold's 4,300. Now it's almost 4,000 again. We're just kind of seeing where it's at because we have to buy and sell in bullshit money. But that's coming to an end, and we know that. So we really don't want to sell any gold unless you have to. A vacation, an expense or something, going to sell. All right, a little bit more.
With the yuan as the new reserve currency and backed by gold, just like the US dollar was?
I think that's a good way to describe it, Paul, because the thing about Bretton Woods is that it was this sort of high level, you can't exchange your currency for gold. But this is a system which basically everybody who's in Bretton Woods, we're in there at a fixed rate, and gold basically is the tie for all the fixed rates. And that was fine, so long as the Americans, who had the bulk of the gold, certainly in the late 1940s, that was fine until the Americans began to run out of gold. And then, you had the end of Bretton Woods. And Zoltan Pozsar, I don't know, you remember him? He was Credit Suisse. He described the current situation as Bretton Woods 2, which is not a rather clumsy way of putting it because it's not a Bretton Woods system in any way. So you have the Bretton Woods system, you have the fiat currency system, and he was raising a question mark. Are we going into Bretton Woods 3?
Right. Yeah.
In other words, is this the end of the fiat currency system and it's going to be replaced by something else? That was the question he raised. He was raising this question, 3 or 4 years ago? And I think the thing that's really done it was COVID. Then the economy shut down. There was an explosion in government debt as a result.
I'm the founder of Mudwater, and 3 years ago, my life changed forever. I became
Nobody
a vlogger. I thought running a
cares.
business was hard.
Shut the fuck
Economy
up.
shut down. There was an explosion in government debt as a result. And it's clear to me that large parts of our economies haven't recovered from that at all. I mean, you've got some zombie companies who took on debt basically because they ceased trading for however many months. They took on debt and they've never really got rid of it. And the problem is that interest rates have gone up. They can't afford current interest rates. And of course, this has led to other distortions. I mean, for example, you've got the shadow banking system, so-called, in America. In this case, we're looking at private equity and hedge funds who use their, if you like, their rating in order to borrow from the banks to lend on to those who basically the banks won't lend to. Why won't the banks lend? I mean, the banks aren't stupid. They won't lend to these companies because they're zombies. So the zombies are getting sort of payday loans out of, the shadow banking system. And that's a big accident waiting to happen. It really is. I mean, and this is what Jamie Dimon referring to the other day. He's talking about cockroaches. You see one, they're going to be more.
Alistair McLeod's message to gold and silver investors is clear. This isn't the end. It's the reset before the breakout. He urges holders to stay patient, stay disciplined, and remember that precious metals are not speculation. They are monetary insurance for a world that's rapidly losing faith in paper promises. So, what do you think? Are bullion banks fighting a losing battle against a global shift toward hard money?
Yes, they are. So we buy gold to get out of the dollar. That's what we're doing. We ignore comex because it's paper. We don't care what the paper price of gold. Even if the gold price were to drop, we're not getting out of gold, getting back into fiat anyway. So we have no option here. Once we've gotten rid of our dollars and we've gotten into gold, we are not selling our gold to get back into basically monopoly money. So don't worry about the price of COMEX. It's just a game being played. And all the banks, the bullion banks, are long or assuming the price of gold and silver are going up. So we'll play with the banks. If the banks are thinking 10,000, we're there, although we think it's 25, 30,000 because they're naive and I'm conservative. But that's where we're at. So don't worry about this. We'll be fine. But I wanted to share, I saw that today and I wanted to share that with you because I know you get a little nervous because you think these are stocks you're fucking with. They're not. They're gold. They're money. They're mantle cards. That's why I use that because the mantle card doesn't go down. The mantle card's 80 grand. It stays at 80 grand. And that's really the key to it. So don't be concerned about what's going on in the paper market. We only care about the physical market. That's why I tell you not to buy ETFs, not to buy gold stocks, but to buy gold, physical gold. It's worth 10 times COMEX because you can see it's going down a couple $1,000s. The physical isn't going down, it's going up. It's the most highly demanded item there is gold and silver by all the BRICS countries, China, Russia, India. They're all buying physical gold. As long as that's happening and the dollar's going out, Trump keeps printing it. Oh, I'll sell the weapons. We'll have wars so I can sell the weapons. I really don't understand the correlation between going broke and having a war. Wars are very expensive. They don't get you out of a recession or a depression. In 1930, we were in a depression for 15 years. FDR put us in it, and we were in it until 1945. And the only reason, the difference is we actually were the manufacturer of the weapons for Britain and France and Russia, and we sold the weapons to them back in the 30s for gold. We're not doing that now. So Trump's trying to get them to sell, but they don't have money to buy it anyway. So that's not happening. But that's what he doesn't get when things change. Variables change. And that's the bottom line. So in football, we know the Missouri quarterback's out. We got to see about Arizona State's quarterback. So the key is the quarterback. Is he playing? Is Utah's playing? Is Texas Tech's playing? And it makes a huge difference. Or is the backup okay and we can still bet the backup quarterback? So you got to understand the variables. Football, the baseball, you got umps cheating. So it makes it really difficult when there's cheating going on. I don't know. I've never seen an ump be so blatant as that. It's a strike. It's 3 feet over the strike zone, but I'll call it a strike, and then I'll point to first to confuse the runner, and he'll be thrown out because I got paid off, and that's the problem. There's so much phoniness going on, and it's all the refs and the umps who are doing it because they don't make any money. So the mafia can give them, here's 50 grand, fix the game, and they're going to fix the game. And these guys in basketball who are just bullshit, nobody's Rozier, you've got to throw them out of the game. You've got to throw out all these, and you got to find them on your own. Apparently they knew Rozier was fixing games and they didn't say anything. And then he was traded and they didn't tell the team that, oh, by the way, he's fixing games. I don't like these leagues. They're about money, but they don't even understand their money's worthless. And that's it. So a good week in football coming up. I'll finish my pro stats and have the teams ranked for you for tomorrow. Alyssa, I don't know where she is, but I am hungry, so I'm going to have lunch. And that's about it. So have a wonderful day. Do not worry about comex. It'll be 5,000 very soon. Give it time. It's the end of October. Give it by Thanksgiving. We should be at 5,000, and we should be at $60, $70 silver, something like that. I'd say by the end of the year, we'll be $100 silver and at least 5,500 gold. Because this is the last desperate thing right here. That's what's happening. But the buyers are letting them do it because they're going, let's see how low they're going to push it down, and we can buy it cheaper. So everybody's buying gold. Nobody is selling it. Nobody in their right mind. Maybe 1 ounce you sell to get $4,000 to pay off some bills or eat or something like that. But nobody in their right mind is selling gold for dollars. That's the stupidest thing you can possibly do. All right, that's it. I guess another baseball game today. Shotani, so he'll probably get all the calls, but the ball can be this far outside. It'll be a strike because it's Shotani. I really don't like that guy. I think it's ridiculous. I don't get, what is this little wave thing they do? Does it look kind of weird? These are supposedly professional athletes. They look like little 5-year-old kids when they do the little wave thing, or in football, they run into the end zone. What the fuck is that? It's an embarrassment to the sport that your player makes a play and he's got to do that. Or in baseball, they get a hit and they're doing the wave at second base. Like, grow up. You're a professional athlete, not a 5-year-old kid. But they look like 5-year-old kids out there. I can't stand it. It's so hard to watch sports. It's gotten so weird. And tell me, I'll leave you with this. Why the fuck is the crowd standing at the baseball game? And I'm talking guys sitting in the first, second row. Why are they standing? Sit down. Sit your ass down. Because then everybody has to stand. It was a 5-hour game yesterday. So great. And then they're all sitting there with their phones. And as we talked, it's more about being there. They're not real fans. They're just saying, look, I was at the game. I don't know anything about baseball. I've never played. I don't know who won, but I was there. It's a World Series game, and look at me. I was there. Who gives a fuck? I wouldn't have gone if they paid me to go. What, are you kidding me? To see that crap? I would have went and seen Scherzer, but when he got pulled out in the 5th inning, I'd have had to talk with the manager, telling him to get his head out of his ass. But yeah, Scherzer should have went 7 innings, and you would have had a 4-2 lead or 5-2 lead with Scherzer in the game, and you would have won the game. So you fucked yourself up by doing that. Now, I don't know. I've never seen Shotani pitch. I have no idea what he is. He's a hot dog anyway. I don't like him. He reminds me of Tiger Woods. They're all hot dogs. They're not pro. Like Jack Nicklaus was a pro. He was very stoic, very thank you. You know, he didn't show off like Tiger Woods with the fist pump. You want a fist pump? Go box. Go play basketball. You don't fist pump in golf. And this Shotani with the wave, and you know, is he a good hitter? He's a golfer. He golfs at the ball. Keep throwing the ball low. What is wrong with these pitchers? A bunch of fucking idiots. Anyway, I will leave you with that. And good luck on everything. Football, you got the 2 bullshit games going on tonight. UTEP, Kennesaw State, James Madison, Texas State. What is this crap? And don't bet because it's Tuesday and there's games to bet on. I'm giving you good games to bet on. Just wait for Saturday or maybe Friday, the Thursday game, whatever. All right. Check your injuries. What quarterbacks are playing? Those very critical, and go from there. All right. So it's getting worse and worse. The injury news is getting bad. Lamar, he's practicing. Oh yeah, but he's not playing. Well, really? That's ridiculous. We should know that on Wednesday, not on Saturday. Lamar can't go. And the fact he couldn't practice, you weren't going to tell me he couldn't go by then. So it's getting very, very Bush League, minor league. This whole Baltimore. I hate both Harbaughs. They're terrible coaches. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Please do not worry about the gold and silver physical price. You are in gold. There's one thing the alligator says I don't like. He says, well, they're really getting out of the dollars and not buying gold. No, idiot. They are buying gold with the dollars. It's a one and a two. I want to buy gold, so I have to sell dollars to buy gold. When I go to the gold store, I'm giving him this to buy the gold. Of course. What else am I going to use? What a stupid comment. They're getting out of dollars. Yeah, and they're choosing gold. So they're buying gold with the dollars. Fucking idiot. All right. Have a good day. Just relax. Your gold and silver are fine because you have physical. If you don't have physical, I can't help you. I told you to buy physical. Get out of the stocks. Get out of the miners. Get out if you're in ETFs. Get the fuck out. You can get out of your 401ks. Get the fuck out of them and buy physical. Because you know what? It's getting harder and harder to find it. And the price should be going higher and higher also. So this is your last little deal to get gold at 4,000 before it hits 5 and 10. You won't be able to afford it. Or if you can, you're only going to buy 2 or 3 ounces instead of 10 ounces. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day. You're fine with your physical gold and silver. Go buy more. It's on sale right now. All right. Take care, everybody.